All right, Cass, thanks so much for taking the time to do this level, sharing your experience and going through the program. So maybe take a second and just kind of introduce you and what you do and that type of thing.
Okay, I'm Cassandra Cruz. I'm a assistant principal. I'm an assistant principal for the Clark County School District in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I'm nearing 50.
Love it, love it. Have a couple kids.
Have 3 kids. One is 22, and then I have twins that are 15.
Keep you
Those
keep you super busy.
keep me busy. They keep me on my toes. So my two little broke best friends is what I call them.
Love it. And maybe share a little bit of like what your goals were coming into the program.
So one of my main goals was to learn how to manage my time, work on my mental health, because I know that's a big part
Yeah,
of any program. And the mindset videos were amazing. I share them with people all the time,
I love it.
stuff that I've learned. And then also just to my overall health, like consistency, which is something that I've always struggled with. Like I've tried everything. I've tried Weight
Sure,
Watchers. I've tried, all the fly by night kind of stuff, but
sure.
none of them stuck with me. But I was able to stick with this because it's so easy and
Yeah,
manageable.
yeah. I love that. Um, and what would you say like your like relationship with like health, nutrition, workouts? Like what was that kind of like before working together?
Oh, it was a mess. I would start, oh, I'm gonna walk this week, and I would walk once, and
Sure.
then be like, oh, never mind, my body hurts.
Yeah.
Um, my relationship was with food, with nutrition, was horrible. Um, I would just, grab a protein shake as opposed to eating real whole foods,
Sure.
and variety of foods, which I loved about the program was like I was actually eating more food than I had in the last 2 years,
Yeah.
uh, like real food. Um, my kids are enjoying it as well because 'cause I'm cooking more, uh, and trying new things as well. So
Yeah.
but before that, before your program, it was, you know, oh, I would be too tired, so I would be like, "Oh, I'll just pick up the kids some fast food or
Sure.
order a pizza," stuff like that, and then for me, I would be like, "Oh, well, I'll just throw me a protein shake with, a cup of coffee." Something
Right. And that's
so
actually something that I hear a good amount is like, especially with working parents, it's like I'm at the end of the day I'm too busy, I'm too tired, I don't have the energy, that type of thing. But I feel like you were a good example of having so much on your plate, especially with your school. There was a lot going on, and your time was very stretched thin. Like I remember messaging you like I didn't get out of work until super late, and we're doing this project and that project, and even
yeah.
so, you were able to apply the principles that we were going over and teaching and being consistent with. And even though we technically had less time because we were doing workouts and you were preparing food a little bit more, you had more energy and were more effective
Like,
throughout the day.
I don't think if I would have been eating the way I had been, the beginning of the school year, I would have ended up probably sick just because I wouldn't have been having the proper nutrition,
Sure.
to get me through those long days and, getting over 10,000 steps during the school day.
Yeah.
So,
So maybe share a little bit of like what started to shift as you went through the program, as we were working together, either physically, mentally. What were some of the shifts or the results?
I think one of the biggest things was your video on the 1% better.
Yeah,
Because it's always like all or nothing. And
totally.
I think when I bite off too much, it becomes too overwhelming for me. But when I listened to that video, I was like, oh, I don't have to do it all in a month or a
Yeah.
day. It's like just be 1% better every
Mm-hmm.
time, you
Yeah.
know. And the biggest shift for me was planning,
Mm-hmm.
knowing ahead of time, I need to get this from the grocery store. I need to, prep at night, whether it be for the breakfast or my lunch, and knowing exactly what I was going to have when I got home,
Yeah.
um, helped me to stay the course.
Yeah.
Um,
And something that I loved that you started to implement was having your kids start making some of the meals that you guys wanted to eat as a family. You know, because they're a little bit older, they can kind of fend for themselves to a certain extent. And one, that helped you a ton, and two, then they have that kind of life lessons and life experiences, you know, because a lot of times people want to get into better shape or change some of their habits or things like that for their kids, right? To help their kids more. And you were 100% like testament of that, where now they have this kind of real life can actually, you know, make some great meals and that type of thing for the future. So it totally benefited them as well.
yeah, last night, my daughter actually made salmon and some spinach ravioli and stuff, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, she's experimenting more. She's trying new things.
Yeah.
And we're learning how to eat a variety,
Hmm.
but at the same time stay within our calories.
Heck yeah. Which is that's exactly that's the name of the game right there. I love it. What would you say is like maybe the your favorite thing in working together?
That I had the app, I think it's a big help,
Yeah.
because sometimes you do fall off course, but you can always go back to the videos.
Yeah.
Um, and those videos that you make are just a godsend. Like, especially like I'm telling you, the mindset videos are
Yeah.
I was talking to my oldest son the other day, and I was like, oh, well, in one of Connor's videos, I was like, all you have to do is remember to be 1% better,
Yeah.
because he was getting really frustrated with where he's at right now with his workout, and he's not seeing the results
Sure.
he wants. And I was like, you're biting off too much. Like, you're trying to do bodybuilding type workout and you
Hmm.
haven't even learned to crawl yet. So, you know,
Right.
you 1% better than you were the last week, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, and that can be so powerful too because it's easy to do that kind of all or nothing mentality. And when you bite off more than you can chew, or when you're trying to reach too far, and if you fall short, then you have those negative emotions, and you start this kind of downward spiral instead
Yeah.
of being like, okay, yeah, I'm not exactly where I want to be, but look how far I've come, and if I can just make one better decision today, or if I can just push it a little bit harder, and those things compound over time. So that's awesome.
Also within the app, having the set workout and knowing what I'm going to be doing, because like you could look at it ahead of time, and knowing that you have the models of the workouts, and
Yeah.
I'm not having to go through YouTube and see what a s- scalp, what are those,
Oh, the
the
scapular scoops. Yep.
yeah. you know so I was like, oh, look how easy this is.
Yeah.
I can project it on my TV, so it was really nice.
Love it. Thank you for sharing that. Um, what would you say is like kind of the reason that you decided to kind of pull the trigger, make the jump, and work together?
Your Instagram page, I kept seeing, and it
Okay.
was like, oh, these are like real women like me. Like, they're real people. They're
Yeah.
real they're real moms out here, not, Instagram models. And
Sure.
one of your videos like this that you did with one of your clients, she was around my age, had kids,
Yeah.
worked a full-time job, and she was like, it's you don't have to be 100% perfect to
Sure.
see the results.
Yeah.
Um, which I can say, me, I wasn't 100% perfect, but I still lost 3 inches off my waist in
Heck
the
yeah.
time, and I lost close to almost 10 pounds.
Yeah. So awesome. It's incredible.
But I gained a lifetime of habits.
Yeah.
Um, Getting the gallon of water in every day. I'm getting my movement in every day. I'm eating better every day, and I
Yeah.
have more energy at almost 50 than I did when I was 35.
So awesome. Which that quality of life improvement of more energy. If you look at the billion dollar industry that energy drinks or like the energy pills or drinks or gum, or like there's so many things, and it's all just people just trying to have more energy, and that's something that you accomplished where that's incredible. Even like years later, you feel better now than you did in the past.
So I posted a picture the other day on my profile picture on, I don't remember if it was Instagram or Facebook, and everybody's like, "You look younger um, than you did even a year ago," you
Yeah,
know.
I love
So
that.
my skin has improved. Like I felt like I was starting to look my age. But I think just eating better and exercising and taking that time to really be mindful
Yeah,
of how much water you really need to drink.
yeah, makes a huge difference. So many people are dehydrated, like, and it's tough. Even me doing what I know and what I do and what I preach. There's some days where I'm just like, my cognitive function isn't where it needs to be. Like my attention, I'm just like kind of sluggish. I'm like, oh, I've only had my water from the gym today. Like it's 2 o'clock and I'm so behind. So then once I start drinking more water, I'm like, okay, yeah, no, I'm actually feeling better. So it's the
Yeah.
little things that totally add up.
Oh, the other day I sent one of the secretaries at work to the Walmart market, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna die." I said, "I forgot my water jug. Can you please run out and get me some water?" And she's like, "Why you got these?" I said, "I'll drink like 20 of those little bottles."
Yep, yeah.
And she was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I need my big jug."
It makes a huge difference. So what would you say to somebody that's like maybe been looking into me, or like on the fence if they should really commit? What would be your advice?
I would say go for it. Um, you get instant support, like you're always available.
Yeah,
I like the fact that the conversations that we have are meaningful, and you can't put a price on your health.
yeah, I love that.
I know, like for me, it was like, oh, because I live in Vegas, I was like, oh, $200. Like I spend that in one night, here, you know.
Yeah,
So I really decided that my health was worth more than a new pair of tennis shoes
for
or
sure.
you know something. So
Yeah, yeah, and it's when you take away your health, right? When you are in times where you don't feel well, like when you're sick and things like that, especially if you have chronic illnesses, you would give anything to feel good, to feel whole, to feel quote normal again. And then when you're just like sick with like the flu, luckily you bounce back from that pretty quick. But some chronic fatigue and chronic issues take a little bit more than that, and it's like you said, you can't put a price on it. So I appreciate
yeah,
that.
worth every penny. It was seriously like life changing for me and my
Thank you.
kids.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It was honestly a pleasure working with you. I know that we have kind of like our follow up process set, and I'm excited to can kind of continue working with you in that capacity. But in terms of like the set program, it was seriously such a pleasure working with you and messaging you and hearing your crazy stories of school and work and stuff, and then we also had those great meaningful chats and things. So it's been awesome. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I can't thank you enough.
You're awesome. Well, thank you for taking the time to, share your experience, and I hope some people found value from that. I'm sure they did. And I hope you have a fantastic day.
Thanks, you too.
Thanks, Cass.